Mr. Rose for 5 minutes.
Thank you for being with us today, Chairman Powell. Chair Powell, I just want to echo at the outset some of the concerns that my colleagues have raised about Vice Chair Michael Barr's, quote, holistic review, unquote, of capital markets, and also about the Fed engaging in climate policy, as well as your decision to put Vice Chair Barr in charge of the Community Reinvestment Act rulemaking. With that said, I'm going to dive right into my questions. Chair Powell, I was pleased to see that the U.S. Coin Task Force released their report on the state of coin a few months ago. The report notes that the Federal Reserve and U.S. Mint will be jointly contracting with a third-party consultant to review the coin supply chain and develop recommendations to improve it. Chairman Powell, could you provide us with an update on what the Fed has learned from its review of the coin circulation issues that occurred during the pandemic?
So we know that the flow of coins, the natural flow of coins in the economy slowed down a lot because people were staying home and that kind of thing, and they may have switched to non-coin-based means of payment. And we feel like the evidence is that that's continued now. People are paying electronically and things like that, and coins are sitting in jars and on people's desks and at home, and they're not circulating back into the banks and thus to the retail stores. And so we're working on that. We're working with the Mint. We're working with all the stakeholders in the coin ecosystem to try to address this problem, and we're well aware of it.
So it seems to me that what we learned from that is that it's probably necessary to have a greater reserve of coins if there is such an interruption in the future, so that commerce is not indeed interrupted. Would you share that broad view?
That sounds right. I'm not an expert. I will say it feels like we need more coins now because more of them are sitting in people's homes and pockets, and they're not flowing back to where retailers in particular need the flow of coins. So that sounds right to me.
On a related note, could you speak about the importance of maintaining cash as a viable payment option, particularly for those that lack or don't have access to traditional financial services?
We think it's absolutely critical because there are people who don't have credit cards. Many people don't have credit cards. They don't have good credit, and they need to be paying in cash. And when stores are not dealing with people who don't have cash, it's a serious problem for those people in the economy. We have it at the Board of Governors, and you see it elsewhere because most payments are now taken care of by credit cards, and it's very efficient, but we need to be looking out for people who use cash.
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective. Picking up on Mr. Luekemeyer's concerns that he expressed earlier, as you know, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's funding mechanism is intricately linked to the Federal Reserve System. According to Title 10 of Dodd-Frank, each quarter the CFPB director requests an amount that is reasonably necessary to carry out the Bureau's authorities, and the Federal Reserve must transfer that amount so long as it does not exceed 12% of the Federal Reserve's total operating expenses. For the first 5 years of the existence of CFPB, of course, there was a relaxation there with respect to that 12% cap that allowed $200 million annually to be spent beyond that number so long as it was reported, so long as the reported excess was sent to the President and congressional appropriators. Chair Powell, during your chairmanship, has the Fed ever rejected a CFPB budget request?
I do not believe so.
And could you tell us what policies and procedures are in place at the Fed to ensure that there is no waste, fraud, or abuse, or that these limits are not otherwise exceeded?
So we have no role in engaging with that. It's really what we share a common inspector general who does work on those issues, but we don't in any way, we don't have any governance of any kind over the CFPB. We're just a source to them.
Thank you. I appreciate that insight. In closing, Chair Powell, yesterday Senator Warren asked you what you would say to the 2 million people who may lose their jobs if the Fed keeps raising interest rates. Frankly, Senator Warren should be asking herself the same question when she voted and advocated for the Democrats' reckless spending packages that caused this inflation that we are seeing today, and is the reason the Fed has had to raise interest rates, in my view. Frankly, I would call on Senator Warren, the President, and the Democratic Party, for that matter, to apologize to the American people for causing this kitchen table crisis across the country. With that, Chairman, I yield back.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications so every time I put out a video, you can know about it. It'll come up in your feed. Hit that like button if you liked it. And be positive. Peace.